All right, Reddit, YouTube world. This is the You Been Jammin' 2 rig rundown. And so, I've been meaning to do one of these for a long time and just haven't gotten around to it. So, I'll run through the pedal board and signal chain and all that in just a moment. But before we get started, just thought I would touch on the amps and guitars I'm working with. So right here we have the Ignator Tweaker 15 watt, a wonderful and versatile little amp that pretty much gets me everything I need. To me, it beats out amps that are 3, 4, 5 times its price, so can't be beat there. And it sounds monstrous coming through the 2x12 Ignator cabinet, of which I have a second one for doing stereo. And this amp is not a tweaker, this is a Rebel 20, which similarly sized lunchbox amp, also great. I really dig the Ignator stuff. For guitars, the most recent addition here is this Supro Westbury, looking gorgeous. Then we've got a Fender FSR Blonde Telecaster, and that is the best Telecaster I've ever played. It's a made in Mexico, but that is of no matter. Then there's my first guitar, which is an Aria Mac 50M, and always got to keep your first guitar. And then finally, we've got this made in Mexico Stratocaster with this sweet sticker I got at Jack White's little shop in Tennessee at Third Man. And then I've got my American-made P-Bass, and then my very first bass, which is a Crate. Crate means quality. All right. With that out of the way, we'll move on to the pedal board. All right. So here are my two pedal boards. We have numero uno over here is mostly mono pedals. Over here, mostly digital pedals. Let's run through the signal chain. Starting, we have a Ditto X2 looper right out front. That way I can make loops and play with knobs. Then, Spaceman Space Rocket. Nice little fuzz. It's got some cool stuff going on the decay. Good pedal. I like it. Saturn V. Probably one of my favorite pedals. It is a harmonic booster. Has a clean knob here. Just a clean boost. And a second knob for adding dirt. Set it anywhere. It sounds fantastic. Then, Spaceman Blazar. It's a reverse noise gate, so it will make white noise when you're not playing. It was an April Fool's joke. It is of moderate to low usefulness, but it's enjoyable. I like it. It can be used to do some cool lo-fi stuff with the warped vinyl and or the Deluxe Memory Man with the delay set low, depth high, rate way down. You can get some kind of warped vinyl-y sort of sounds out of that as well. So that's how I occasionally use that. Cali 76 TXLP, definitely a amazing compressor. Has the dry level control, which all of the Cali 76 Compacts Deluxe have. This one also has the transformer though, so it's a really neutral sort of sound, but it's a very nice compressor. And it's got the cleanest boost I've ever heard. Cleaner than my volume knob. It's nuts. Moving on. My cheap tuner that everyone gives me crap for. And I like having my tuner after my compressor because it allows me to give the tuner a nice consistent signal and makes the tuning go quicker. Then it runs to my little 5 output patch bay so I can add little loops, little guest loops for pedals that, you know, I'm just trying out. I can throw them in there. So that's what that is underneath the tuner. Then we have the J-Rocket Masterbuilt Copper Boost. It is a very versatile little boost. It's got a switchable buffer, level control, tone control. It's got 3 different modes. It's got treble boost mode, which I use a lot with my Supro, clean boost mode, which sounds amazing with the Strat, and then a full boost mode that I don't use very often. But it's a very versatile little boost, almost on par with the TC Spark Boost 4-knob thing in versatility. But I just think it sounds way better, and I think the dirt that you get out of it is a much nicer sound. So great pedal. There's a cheap version of it called the J-Rocket Lemonade. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Then we go to the Deluxe Memory Man Tap Tempo. This is the one with the MN3005 chips, the old Panasonic chips from the old DMM delays. I got it for the same price as the new one. I got it for like $250. So good deal. And it's a good analog delay. Has a send and return for putting stuff into the loop. I've in the past put like a Boss CE2, or you know, you can put fuzzes, or if you want to make things dirty. Fun pedal. I enjoy it. Spaceman Wow Signal, kind of a this is another fuzz pedal, and has a little oscillating component that you can control, you know, where in the spectrum that sits and how fast it goes. Kind of a neat pedal. Not my favorite Spaceman, but it has some uses, because this combined with the Pitchfork makes some nice synthy sounds, and that's about how I use it. Then from there we go to the Chase Bliss Warped Vinyl. Joel is a genius and a gentleman, and you know, there's a lot that's already been said on these pedals. This is a vibrato and chorus. I think it's a better vibrato than it is a chorus, but it's pretty good at both, and it's very good as a vibrato. And all of the Chase Bliss pedals are synced using my Source Audio Soulman, and I've also got presets built in here, and I can do stuff like double the speed and turn them on and off remotely from over here, which is cool. So moving on from the Warped Vinyl, we go to the Womb Tone, probably one of the best phasers ever made. It is super deep, super rich, and controls that'll keep you busy for years. From there, we go to the Spaceman Sputnik 2, probably my favorite fuzz pedal of all time. It's only been out for a little bit. I've had mine for a few weeks now, though, and it quickly kicked the original Sputnik off my board because it does everything it does and a lot more. The gain knob basically goes from a germanium overdrive all the way up to fuzz craziness, and then the drift switch turns on the 8-bit freakout, and you've got these filters that can add bass or push mids, push highs, as well as a tone knob that's super responsive, and this controls the amount of freakout. So it's a really neat pedal. And there, after that, we go to the Pitchfork. I like to keep mine at about 9 o'clock on the blend. I keep it on an octave, and usually it's an octave down, and just use it as kind of a subtle way of filling out the low end on some of my other dirt, and a lot of times you can't even tell it's on. But I mean, you can tell it's on if you know it's there, but otherwise you don't hear that sort of synthy sound that the Pitchfork kind of makes. But I do use it in other capacities as well, but that's just one of my favorites. So from the Pitchfork, we go to the Spaceman Aphelion. The Aphelion is just a overdrive pedal basically, and it's a very good one. I like it. 3-knob It's got volume, gain, tone. Easy peasy. From there, the Abracadabra Audio Ayahuasca, which is basically a Gravitas tremolo with a fuzz pedal, 3-knob fuzz pedal attached to it. You can do some wild stuff with it. I've already got another demo of that up, so you can take a look at that if you want to see some of the sounds that thing can make. Then from there, we go to the Spaceman Voyager. Definitely one of the best Spaceman pedals out there. Zach is still making these things, and I highly recommend you snag one because they are terrific. It's got the most responsive envelope control of any other trem I've played, and it also has an amazing sounding dirt pedal built in. But unlike the Ayahuasca, this is a trem pedal first, dirt pedal second, and the tremolo is just very organic, so I enjoy it. After the Voyager, we go to the SSBS Pretty Ears, which is, to my mind, somewhat misunderstood. It kind of got marketed as like a fuzz pedal, which it is that, and it can be that, and it can be an overdrive pedal or a distortion pedal, but those aren't the things that I think it is. That's not the thing I use it for most. What I use it for is as a way to ram something into a mix, because that is its greatest strength, in my opinion. It has these various filters. It's got the high pass, band pass, and then high pass, band pass, low pass, and notch filters. And those can be used along with the frequency control that's right here. Those can be used to basically, accentuate any part of the mix. And so you can play a part and you can squeeze it into a really dense mix, because between that and these bass and treble controls, and then being able to add or subtract different frequencies, you have a lot of control over the way things sit in the mix with this thing. It is a really phenomenal little preamp. I also have the 8-step program that is running into the CV input of it, so you can do crazy things with these like bandpass filters. You can basically turn this thing into a wah pedal if you want. It's really crazy, and I love it. From there, we go to the Spectre. It sits last because it loves eating dirt. So it is a flanger, through zero flanger by Chase Bliss. Again, being controlled by the Source Audio Soulman, and it is great. Kind of an abnormal flanger, but it is a great one nonetheless. From there, we go to the Atlas 3, which is just a 1-knob boost, adds some sparkle. It's good stuff. And then we go to my volume pedal, which is the Ernie Ball VP Junior, the much maligned VP Junior. Nothing more to say on that. This is a Source Audio Reflex. It also runs into my 8-step program, which can run through to the Pretty Ears, by the way. But it is basically a MIDI controllable expression pedal that has up to 6 expression outs. 3 of them are TRS, and then 3 of them are digital. So from there, that is the end of my mono chain, and we go to the UD Stomp, which has 8 separate delay lines. They are crazy. You can control, each one is basically a delay that you can control. So you can have one delay, you can control the number of repeats, control the filters on that particular delay, and you've got up to 8 of them. So you can do insane things with stereo, you can do choruses, you can do flangers, you can do a lot of crazy stuff with this if you know what you're doing. And that is the caveat, is it is a difficult pedal to work with, and that's probably why it didn't sell well. It also doesn't take tap tempo, which is kind of a bummer. But it has a lot of power under the hood, and it's a unique beast. From there, we go to the Ecolution 2 by Pigtronics. Probably the best sounding digital delay box, and I think, I mean, you can get these things for like 200 and change used, and that to me is a bargain because this thing sounds incredible. Does all the stuff a big box delay does. The filters sound great. The LFO sounds great. You can do tape delays. I mean, everything. It sounds really good. I like it. Some of the controls are a little wonky, but its strength is sounding terrific. Then from there we go to the Eventide Space. I like to make presets of other famous reverb pedals on it. So that's just my thing. And then I've got some other presets as well. I actually really like the shimmer on this thing. I've got a pretty good shimmer setting that I like. Yeah, it's a great pedal, and it's not too complicated either. I think people are intimidated by the screen and all the knobs, but there's 10 knobs, and they all control a parameter, and the screen tells you what that parameter is, and no menu diving required. It is quality. Then from there, we have the Boss DD500. Amazing delay pedal with tons of ability to just make crazy and wild sounds. I love it. I've got some insane settings. The assign controls on here let you do some other wild stuff like changing parameters. For example, like this particular delay is currently changing what note the delays are at, and it gives it this really glitchy sort of sound. You can do all sorts of stuff with the assign controls and make some crazy sounds. It's fantastic. From there, Pigtronics Infinity Looper. 2 loops. It's got a master volume control, which comes in handy. You can individually control the loop volumes. You can put them in series. You can put them in parallel. It's good stuff. I don't actually have this connected via MIDI. I don't know. I don't use it that way. I tried. It didn't really work out. I found it unnatural, so I went back. I've also got the undo reverse switch, which can be cool. And then lastly, we got the Little Dual. It is a amp switcher, basically. And it also has a little transformer for isolating the ground between the 2 amps. So that keeps me from getting ground loop hum. And it's also got a phase control switch. But you can use this thing to use only one or both amps. And so that is everything. Just a quick stop on the Soulman MIDI controller that I use to control my other digital pedals. I've got different presets that I've saved. Like this one controls all my CBA pedals, so I can turn the warped final, the womb tone, the spectre all on from here. And then I've got a, I can access certain presets, and I have like momentary control, so this will actually change the speed of the ayahuasca using a momentary switch, which is kind of neat. And yeah, so that's how I use that. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more clips of how I actually use this board, check out my Instagram at ubenjamin2.